Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I am Professor Hassan and you are watching my channel Professor Hassan Hamayu. The title of today's video is Statistics First Time in Pakistan, and that is lecture number 3. Dear candidates, dear students, we will discuss very important concepts and questions which are compulsory and essential for every written test of statistics. Before starting today's vital lecture, I request everyone subscribe to my channel, like and share my channel, and click the bell icon for the notifications of the next important videos. Let's start. Question number 1 is, the method of maximum likelihood was introduced in the method of MLE was introduced in 1922 by R.A. Fisher. A very important question. This can be asked 1922, and this is also an important multiple choice question. It was introduced in 1922 by R.A. Fisher. Dear students, I want to give you some more important concepts of statistics. There are 4 properties of a good point estimator. For example, we have discussed unbiasedness. It is expectation of x bar is equal to mu. If the expectation of an estimator is equal to the population parameter, we say that it is unbiased. And if x bar is the unbiased estimator of mu, then x bar square is not the unbiased estimator of mu square. It is not necessary that if x bar is the unbiased estimator of mu, then x bar square is the unbiased estimator of mu square. It is not compulsory, it is not necessary. A very important one. Then the next one is consistency. This property is also called the property of increasing sample size. Whenever we increase the sample size and the variation becomes closer and closer to 0, when the estimator, for example x bar, is close to the population parameter mu by increasing the sample size, then we say that x bar is the consistent estimator of mu. This is an important question for every paper. Consistency property is also called property of increasing sample size, and when we increase the sample size, the variation becomes closer and closer to 0. For example, theta cap is an estimator of theta. It will be consistent if variance of theta cap will be close to 0. And now I will have to discuss if theta cap is a consistent estimator of theta, then theta cap square will also be the consistent estimator of theta square. Here that property holds, invariant property. In unbiasedness, that does not hold. Then the third one is efficiency. If we have 2 unbiased estimators of the population parameter, for example theta 1 cap and theta 2 cap, both are the unbiased estimators of theta, then for efficiency, the variance of theta 1 cap, that is a very important question, should be less than the variance of theta 2 cap. If theta 1 is more efficient than as compared to theta 2. So what did you learn in efficiency? First of all, both estimators must be unbiased. And after that, after unbiasedness, the variance of theta 1 cap should be less than the variance of theta 2 cap. We compare the variances of the estimators which are unbiased. If the variance of the first estimator is less than variance of next as theta 2 cap, we can say that theta 1 is more efficient than theta 2 cap. And for efficiency, what do we do? Variance of theta 2 cap over variance of theta 1 cap. If this answer is less than 1, we say that theta 1 cap is more efficient than theta 2 cap. That question can also be asked in the multiple choice question of every written test. In the denominator, If the answer is less than 1 of this fraction, then the denominator estimator theta 1 cap will be more efficient than the numerator theta 2 cap. And one more point I want to discuss for every paper. If an estimator is unbiased, if an estimator is efficient, it must be unbiased. For efficiency, the estimator should be unbiased, and for unbiasedness, it is not necessary that it must be efficient. For efficiency, the estimator must be unbiased, but for unbiasedness, the estimator may or may not be efficient. And if I talk about variance of x bar, that is also an important question for paper, sigma square over n. And another question, variance of median, that is sigma square over n into pi over 2. Another important question for multiple choice question. Another question, efficiency, variance of x bar, variance of median over variance of x bar is equal to sigma square over n into pi over 2 into, that will be n over sigma square. These will be cancelled and the answer will be pi over 2, 1.57. The efficiency of sample mean is 1.57. And what does it mean? It is another question, a very important one. And 1.57 means, if I take the sample mean, which is x bar, for 100 observations, for 100 students, for 100 people, for 100 chairs, for 100 observations, if we take the sample mean of 100 observations, it do the same thing which is done by the 157 observations for the sample median. The efficiency of sample mean is 157% as compared to the efficiency of the median, a very important one. Then another question which is about sufficiency. If an estimator contains all the information contained in the sample, it is called sufficient estimator. And one more important question, the sufficient estimator was introduced by same person, R.A. Fisher, who introduced MLE, maximum likelihood estimator, in 1922. And one more question, MLE is more efficient. This is the important question for every paper. MLE is more efficient than method of movements. These all are important and vital questions. Next question is, MLE estimators are consistent, efficient and sufficient, but not necessarily unbiased. MLE are consistent, they are efficient, they are sufficient, but they are not necessarily unbiased, a very important one. Next question is, MLE method is applicable for discrete random variable as well as continuous random variable, a very important. Next question, the method of movements which I discussed, which is less efficient than MLE, the method of movements was introduced by Kolmogorov. Next question is, the method of least square, abbreviated LS, is due to Gauss and Markov, a very important one. Next question, the concept of a sufficient estimator was introduced by Sir R.A. Fisher, the same person. Next question, coefficient of colligation was proposed by Yule. Next question, the coefficient of association, which is Q is equal to AB alpha beta minus A beta alpha B over AB alpha beta plus A beta alpha B, is due to, it is also introduced by Yule, and the variation, the range of Q will be -1 to +1. Next question is, Pearson's coefficient of mean square contingency to know the strength of association was given by Carl Pearson, a very important one. Next question is, chi-square as a test of homogeneity, chi square is equal to n square over AB summation a square I over ci minus a square over n is known as Brandt-Snedeker formula with n minus 1 degrees of freedom. A very important question. Dear students, I told you the method of movements was introduced by Carl Pearson. Sorry, I said Kolmogorov, but the correction is the method of movement was introduced by Carl Pearson. A very important one. You must comment on today's video. Assalamu alaikum.